All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to start off our poster introduction section, which will be Vanessa, Isabella, Hannah, Maggie, Jack, Sarah, Audrey, Sushane, and G. So I'll let Vanessa take it away.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vanessa Alvarenga. I am a neuroscience major in the College of Arts and Sciences, and my project is titled Perceived Discriminatory Behavior Committed by Medical Professionals and Its Effect on Postpartum Latinx Women. And I'd like to thank Professor Emily Feinberg and Penny Theodoro for helping me throughout my project. And as my title suggests, my project pursues the relationship that may exist between how women perceive their obstetrical care providers and their postpartum mental health. In particular, the Latinx community was the second fastest growing population in the last decade, and they are on track to make up about a quarter of the U.S. population by 2060. However, growing up in a Central American family, I grew up listening to stories, and there seems to be a lot of mistrust within the community, and I wanted to understand where this mistrust may be stemming from. I questioned if the attitudes of obstetrical care providers may be affecting postpartum mental health in Latinx women and thereby leading to a strained relationship between doctor and patient. The data for my analysis was taken from the Listening to Mothers in California study, in which researchers from the National Partnership for Women and Families, Boston University School of Public Health, as well as the University of California, San Francisco, came together to ask women about their pregnancy and postpartum experience. My preliminary analysis shows that a mother's perception of their obstetrical care provider is not a significant predictor of their postpartum mental health. However, further research is required, and I'd be happy to discuss my conclusions, my findings, as well as the methodology to my project for anyone who comes up to my poster. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Isabella Baker-Villareal. I'm a psychology major in the College of Arts and Sciences. And the title of my project is Social Comparison in the Age of Social Distancing, Effects of the COVID-19 Pandemic on Women's Body Image. I would like to thank my Keystone advisor, Dr. Andrea Mercurio, and all of the professors who gave me advice throughout this process. More specifically, my project is about body image, and I know that that's everyone's favorite topic, to talk about your deepest, darkest thoughts about what you think about yourself and how you compare yourself to other people, right? Right. So after some extensive conversations with my friends about how much the pandemic has affected the way we feel about ourselves and our overall emotions, I decided to take a closer look at how the pandemic has affected women's body image and the level of social comparison. I interviewed 16 BU undergraduate women, then transcribed all of the interviews and coded all of the data based on themes. I would love to talk about these themes with all of you because even though the average rating for appearance was 5 out of 7 for participants, 75% of participants did offer an unprompted negative evaluation of themselves based on the very first question. So I would love to talk to you about all of those things and everything that I discovered throughout this process. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hannah Collins, and I'm studying biomedical engineering within the College of Engineering. So for my project, 3 teammates and I have designed, modeled, and constructed coherence detection synthetic gene circuits based on protein oligomerization. So our project is within the field of synthetic biology, which involves the creation of novel genetic components, including DNA, RNA, and proteins from scratch. So we investigated the properties of a set of novel synthetic proteins, which had only been tested before in vitro. We analyzed the properties of these proteins in live cells for the first time in order to better understand how and when they're formed. We wanted to be able to accurately predict and model how these proteins are formed over time in response to the introduction of certain input molecules to the system. We did this through wet lab experimentation to acquire data and then use this to develop a set of differential equations, which we used to develop a computational modeling algorithm. Our system offers a more precise, fine-tuned control of output behavior compared to existing synthetic gene circuits. This is because it depends on 2 input molecules rather than just one, which together non-linearly control the formation of the output proteins. We hope that our system will be applied in the future for use as biosensors within the field of therapeutics, so that it will be capable of detecting the presence of certain input molecules in a living system and relaying a message regarding their presence to the user. And I would love to talk about this more in depth after. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Maggie and I'm an advertising major in the College of Communication. My project is called The Influence of Web Design Aesthetics on Consumer Buying Decisions. So the purpose of my project is to study how aesthetic values of 2-dimensional design structures can impact consumer perceptions of a brand and how this can affect curious consumption as well as purchase behavior. In order to dissect this relationship, I designed a survey asking participants about their online shopping habits, as well as how visual aesthetics play a role in their purchase decisions. According to a survey of 150 respondents, over 63% of purchases are made online versus in store. And according to 71% of respondents, Amazon is their most frequented e-commerce storefront. So using the collected data, I redesigned Amazon's home and product pages, which you can see on my poster. I also conducted a series of interviews with advertising executives from top agencies to gauge their opinions on the design of e-commerce sites, and I asked them to rank the importance of a series of attributes found in many online shopping tools, and I offered blueprints of design interfaces to figure out which layout was the most effective. From a design perspective, sans serif fonts are a lot easier to read, provide a modern touch. Amazon's homepage has several options in its menu bar, and my redesign incorporates a much simplified version. I chose a blue-green accent color as it's a lot easier on the eyes than Amazon's bold yellow-orange. And my Add to Cart button is at the bottom of the screen rather than the right side, and it moves with the user as it scrolls. My final design contributes to the online shopping experience from both the consumer as well as the brand perception. It makes the process of purchasing products online much more efficient for consumers, as ease of navigation and design aesthetics are the 2 top-ranked attributes, and the generating more sales for e-commerce storefronts. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jack. I am graduating with my master's in computer science and cognitive psychology. I completed my Keystone research with Dr. Nermeen Dashouch and Professor Elena Forzani from the Wheelock School of Education, and the project is titled Education Technology and the Culture of the Classroom. So the inspiration for this project stemmed from the early 2020 COVID-19 pandemic shutdown, in which the majority of schools across the nation ended up turning towards remote learning tactics for the following 2 years. Since the introduction of the vaccine, as well as other safety protocols, many of these schools have returned back to in-person instruction, which enables us the unique opportunity to explore how these virtual learning opportunities are explored in the hybrid learning environment. I performed a case study at a 4th grade class at the Florida Ruffin Ridley Elementary School in Brookline. Students first engaged in a read-aloud activity with their teacher before breaking off into 4 small groups, broken into 2 different cohorts, and they worked together to perform an activity in character trait mapping. The first set of 2 groups had Google Classroom technology, including Chromebooks, as well as Google Slides to complete the activity, whereas the other cohort introduced their solutions with poster boards and art supplies. The following analysis was conducted with recorders in order to capture the student communications with one another. I employed natural language processing techniques with Python code to establish comparisons between the average frequency of speech, the sentiment within the speech, and the average sentence length. I also utilized qualitative analysis for the differences in tone of speech, and those results showed striking differences between students who used technology and those who did not. I'd be happy to talk more about those results if you come by my poster.
Hi everyone, so my name is Sarah and I'm a public relations major in the College of Communications, and my advisor was Steve Quigley from the College of Communication. So my project is called The Pressure to Post, and it explores social pressure and Instagram activism. I think I can speak for many of us when I say that we've seen the transition of the Instagram app over the past few years. What used to be a hub for vacation photos and selfies has transformed into a means for activism and an outlet for news. And it's not uncommon these days to be scrolling through your Instagram feed and to see an infographic raising awareness about a particular cause or issue. And while Instagram allows us to have these important conversations on a global scale, many do critique the lack of real offline action that comes from it. And this is what I wanted to explore in my Keystone. So it made me wonder what may be causing this discrepancy, and I wanted to look at through the lens of social pressure, especially given that Instagram and social media is one of the only ways you can really alter the way others perceive you. It definitely led me to the question of, do we post because we really care, or out of fear of how we'd be perceived if we didn't? So to address this issue, I administered a survey among college students to better understand their motivations to participate, their own online habits, as well as their opinions on the practice as a whole. And my survey found that the overall consensus was that Instagram has the potential for good, but that many often overestimate its impact, and that 30% of my participants indicated that a reason for participating was out of fear of being seen as ignorant or complicit, and these individuals are actually more likely to participate in Blackout Tuesday out of influence from their peers. I then collected all of my data and put that on an Instagram account called The Pressure to Post so that it could be easily shared and accessed, and I hope that my project just is the starting point to having these important discussions to bridge the gap between online and offline action. So if you have any questions, please come see me during the poster viewing session. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Audrey McMillion. I'm a math major and computer science minor in the College of Arts and Sciences.
And I'm Sushane Sharma, an economics and math double major in the College of Arts and Sciences.
And our Keystone project is titled Streaming Services, Success Indicators and Future Prospects. And our advisor is Dr. Ashish Gangobadhai, who is an associate professor of mathematics and statistics. So let's get started. Modern-day streaming services rely on monthly subscription revenue to operate, in contrast to the traditional model of physical distribution of media. Our Keystone project explores the key factors that allows the streaming services Netflix, Spotify, and Pandora increase and sustain their revenue through utilizing publicly available revenue and user data and generating various predictive models, including finite distributed lag and autoregressive integrated moving average models.
Our project answers 3 key questions. What are the predictors of the financial performance of Netflix, Spotify, and Pandora? How do these factors influence the yearly or quarterly revenue of Netflix, Spotify, and Pandora? And finally, on the basis of these factors, how much revenue will Netflix, Spotify, and Pandora make in the near future? We ultimately use our predictions and models to inform Netflix, Spotify, and Pandora of their promising future prospects in today's fast-paced streaming industry.
In particular, we fit an ARIMA 222 model to Netflix's quarterly data that outputs forecasts for all 4 quarters of 2022. And in Spotify and Pandora's case, we fit a finite distributed lag model with adjusted R-squared metrics of 0.993 and 0.994 respectively.
If you would like to learn more about our project, please come to our poster afterwards, and we would be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zhang. I major in computer science and minor in visual arts. My advisor is Sophie Goldley from College of Public Health. My project designs an interface of a family-based sexuality education mobile app called Elephant EDU, and the final prototype is in a Figma design file. There are no sexual health education classes in elementary and middle schools in China or required sexual misconduct training in most colleges. Studies have shown that students absorb much information about sexuality from media and wider society, but the accuracy of such information cannot be guaranteed. Thus, family-based sexuality education becomes crucial. However, sex has been a taboo topic in most East Asian countries. So it is now more important than ever to normalize the idea of sex education among parents and their children in China. Taking into account the increasing use of mobile phones, I designed a mobile app that teaches parents how to provide at-home sex education. This application not only aims to increase the public awareness on sex education in China, but also provide a platform for new parents to communicate with experienced parents and experts. My design process followed the Stanford design thinking process, and I started the project with a survey to parents in China and ideated the details of the app based on the results. After ideation, I drew the flow chart, which serves as a skeleton of the project. My final prototype has 4 personas I created, and the feature section includes forum, articles, and live sections. If you want to know more about my project, please come to see my poster. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to all of our presenters. We now invite you to go visit these posters both on this floor and the floor below us, and we'll reconvene in here by 10:15.